Okay, my name's Bruce and I'm a debtor. Step 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to compulsive debtors and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So, firstly, I'd just like to say I feel so humbled to be the last speaker and to have heard the wisdom and the experience of all of the speakers before me. I feel humbled and I feel that I'm not really qualified to do this. You know, my working of the steps has not been as thorough as those that I hear before me. And I have to admit that I haven't really worked the steps in order, that I haven't come from that, you know, first fellowship tradition of, you work them as they are and in order. I did that with my sponsor in my first program. So I came to the 12 steps through NA 32 years ago, almost 33 years ago. And it was said to me that at some point, someone said to me, oh, you know, you work a step a year in your life. And my sponsor back then said, yeah, we take the steps off the wall and we put them into our life. That is, you know, the last part of this step. We practice these principles in all our affairs. But I looked at this step and I thought, okay, let's break it down a bit. You know, we're having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. And to me, what is a spiritual awakening? And I know that before I came to the 12 steps in my primary fellowship, and then again when I found DA in my 25 years later, the awakening, you know, this spiritual awakening, it's, you know, I think it's that freedom from the prison of self. It is that the spirit is something, the spirit is real, you know, and all of this other stuff, material possessions, physicality, physical body, they all pass away. And that's why I said earlier that my, you know, part of my daily practice is to walk and talk with the people that are on the other side, because they're as real to me as the people that I meet during my day. And, you know, that really turns the whole perception of life on its head when we go, this is not real. This is all something that comes and goes, but the spirit is something eternal, essential. And that's the spiritual awakening for me, is that the spirit is real, that we are all part of this one thing. And I guess that's the we of the program. For me, it was, I'm not alone anymore. I can, you know, I can, you know, I can be part of something bigger than myself. And of course, my part of something bigger than myself is bigger than just this fellowship. And, you know, I came to this fellowship from another fellowship. We're part of this one. We're part of the 12-step movement. We're part of humanity. We're part of the world. We're part of ecology. That's a spiritual awakening for me. And, you know, in my addiction, in any of the forms of my addiction, it's all about me. It's all about me. And You know, it's funny when I see my grandchildren today, and I've seen them go from innocence to toddlerhood to 2-year-old to and then I see my oldest grandson now is coming out of that phase, and he's starting to sort of really become a human being, you know, and give love instead of demand what he wants. And you know, that is truly a spiritual awakening. And so we tried to carry this message to compulsive debtors. So what is the message? You know, this really is the question. What is the message? It's and for me, the message is that, well, I could simply say, I can't, we can. The message is we're powerless. We need a spiritual force in our lives, and change is possible. You know, you don't have to stay in the pain and suffering of where you're at, and you can have a better life. And so how do I carry that message? Well, I share my experience. And my experience was I was a drug addict, and I went to NA, and it changed my life. And after 13 years, you know, in my 13th year of NA recovery, I was at rock bottom again. You know, I was in step one. And after 24 years of recovery, in my 25th year, I was in step one again. My son, ironically, died of a heroin overdose in Thailand, and I was broken. I was broken, and I had, you know, in the previous year, I had cried to my son. I had cried to him about my financial unmanageability, and he had said, Dad, I can lend you some money. I've got money. My son had money because he had worked in the mines or whatever. And that, you know, that was so humiliating to me, to have my son. I was the guy that, you know, we went out to dinner, we went out to lunch with all the kids and the family, and I paid. You know, I had the credit, I had the gold card, the platinum card, no less. You know, I was the
Chris, that's
big
3 minutes
man.
to go.
Okay, so wow, that went quick. And so yeah, the message was carried to me. I was with friends in Bali, and they said, oh, maybe you need DA. And so I found it. So that was, you know, my experience. And I've done all my recovery online because I'm an isolated. I tried to start a group here, and that didn't sort of, it worked for a while, and we did some great work, you know, and I look forward to doing some more great work in my recovery, and to practice these principles in all our affairs. There is always, no matter what is happening in my life, there is always an appropriate step to consider. These are an amazing set of principles. And when I am sponsoring with my sponsees, we work, you know, 1 to 12. But whenever we've got through that, or we're at a point where something is really, some obstacle comes up, I always go, okay, what step is applicable here? You know, these are the principles. And in all my affairs, you know, I've been able to apply these principles in my life outside of the 12-step program, outside of the fellowship, because these are universal spiritual principles. And at one point, my kids were all in Pony Club, and the Pony Club was chaotic, and there was a lot of alcoholism. And we just, you know, for some reason, somebody said, oh, you should be the president. You know, I liked that, being the president. And I just said, okay, we're going to do it this way. And all I did was use what I'd learned in this fellowship. So yeah, I always end this way. I'm just such a grateful member of this fellowship. And it's changed my life and continues to do. And these are the tools that help me to live my life better and better every day. Thanks.